Well, I can't tell if these glasses make me look like a geek or a pedophile. Hey everybody, Dana here with Stimulated Boredom, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Go Mic by Samson, which is a great portable mic for everything from online gaming to improved audio during Skype calls, video conferencing, even podcasting and voiceover work. Now, obviously I'm not using the Go Mic for this particular recording. I am using my trusty AT2020 by Audio-Technica, which is just off the screen here, which is probably why my voice sounds a little bit hollow. But in this video, I'm going to take you through the different recording settings that are built into the Go Mic. Now, there is a unidirectional setting, which is intended for front-facing recordings. Therefore, it's not going to pick up anything from the left or right behind the microphone, but rather in front of the microphone. There's also an omnidirectional setting, which is perfect if you're going to have a group of people sitting around a table. You want to clamp it to a laptop monitor, and what it's going to do is going to pick up a 360-degree sound pattern and pick up everybody in that conversation. And then the last setting is a -10 decibel pad, which is perfect if you're going to be very close to the microphone because you're doing voiceover work or narration where you want to remove any kind of ambient noise. So in this particular video, you will see, hear samples coming from the microphone, and at least in the application of creating a web video. Okay, the first thing that you will undoubtedly notice is how small the microphone actually is. It comes inside of this protective case that's provided by Samson. It also comes along with a mini USB cord that can be used to connect it to a computer or to your laptop. But when I actually pulled it out of the case, I was surprised by how tiny the microphone is, but you'll be surprised at the quality of sound. I actually own a couple of Samson microphones from the past, from doing the podcast, and they make quality microphones. I wasn't expecting to have any problem with this microphone, but in fact, this one actually exceeded my expectations. As you see, it folds inside of a clamp here. Now, this clamp can actually be used as a base itself. It has a very nice weight to it, a very nice heft. It's made out of metal, and you can actually place it on a table and actually use it just like that. Or you can use this clamp here that can be used to attach it to a laptop monitor. Now, it will not fit on a desktop monitor, a larger monitor, because it's simply not big enough. But for a laptop monitor, it fits perfectly. I tried it on the two laptops that I have and had absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. And of course, you can adjust the microphone as needed. Generally, you want to make sure that you're addressing the microphone from the front where the light is. And then the thing that's kind of handy here is this power light actually doubles as a sound monitor. So if you're starting to spike, if your levels are getting kind of high, it'll blink if you're getting too high, and it actually helps you in terms of making sure that you're not spiking your levels. But there is direct monitoring that is included in this microphone, which is actually really impressive because you have microphones that are over $100 that don't offer direct monitoring, and this one does. Now, for those who don't know what direct monitoring is, it actually allows you to plug in a pair of headphones and you can actually listen to your recording in real time as you're saying it. Now, for some people, that's kind of distracting, hearing themselves talk while they're talking, but it's a good way to get an idea of where your levels are at, your positioning to the microphone, or if you have guests, to determine whether or not they need to be closer to the microphone, further away from the microphone. So that's actually a really nice feature to have on a microphone that currently is selling for less than $40. Then, of course, here's where you would attach the mini USB so that you can plug it into your computer or your laptop for recording. And then along the other side is where you have your actual three settings. Now, excuse my hands for getting in the way, but you have this positional switch. On the top, this would actually move it to a unidirectional setting. As I mentioned previously in the intro, this would be the setting that you would use if you're recording a podcast, if it was just going to be you, or you were going to be doing some kind of voiceover narration where only the front of the microphone is going to pick up sound. There will be no sound picked up from the left, the right, or behind the microphone. If you were to move it to the very bottom position, that is the omnidirectional switch. That is the position that you would use if you were having guests on the program, if you just simply wanted to clamp that onto a laptop, and then you would have that in the center of the room, and it would pick up a 360-degree sound pattern, and it would pick up everybody in the conversation, not just the person sitting in front of the microphone. And then the last setting is this -10 decibel pad. And what that does is it actually automatically reduces the sensitivity, and that is in the center position for the microphone. And what that is if you're going to do any kind of voiceover work in which you need to remove any kind of ambient noise, whether it's a ceiling fan, your AC vents, what it does, the only caveat is that you have to be very close to the microphone when you're recording in the -10 decibel pad, because it's intended to pick up a very narrow sound cone. So you need to be right in front of the microphone. It certainly helps to have a pop filter, which you can pick up at a music store for, $20 to put in front of it, which will help to kind of remove those plosive P's and some of those hard sounds. But you can see from the microphone, it's very, very small. In a moment, I'm going to give you a demonstration of the sound. But again, it has a very nice weight to it, thanks to that metal base and the clamp. It does allow you to stow it away nice and easy, put it inside of the protective case that it comes with. But at the same time, there's a number of different ways that you can mount it. You can either mount it to a microphone stand, you can mount it to a boom like I currently have my microphone, or you can just simply place it on the table and use it if you're doing video conferencing or something along those lines. It actually looks very tiny in that shot. So the next thing I'm going to do is give you guys a sample of the recordings using the 3 different settings. Okay, so in this first sample, I am using the internal mic that is built into the webcam that I'm using to record this video. So I wanted to give you guys something to compare it to, so you can hear how it sounds when you're using the built-in microphone, whether it be on your webcam or built into your laptop, and then of course the difference in sound when you have the Go Mic attached instead. Okay, so this isn't exactly the most elegant setup, but you can see that I have the microphone here in front of me. It's roughly about 6 inches away from my face, and this is on the unidirectional setting. This is a setting that you would use if you were doing any kind of solo work, where you were doing a podcast or any kind of voiceover or narration, where you only want the microphone to pick up a sound pattern in the front of the microphone, but no other additional sounds. Now in the next test, I'm going to do the omnidirectional setting, which is going to open up the room to a 360-degree sound pattern, so it's going to pick up a lot of ambient noise, but it's good if you're going to have co-hosts on your podcast or other people that are in the conversation, and you want the microphone to equally pick up all of you. Now in this next test, I'm actually using the omnidirectional setting. This is the setting that you're going to use if you have a group of people. So as you can see, no matter which way I go, which I'm probably making an ass out of myself, but hopefully this is demonstrating how the microphone will pick me up from different sides of the microphone. I'm not going to get behind the microphone unless you guys want me to get inside of your faces on the camera. But you might be able to pick up the fact that the microphone kind of opened up quite a bit. There's a little bit more color to the sounds, whether it's my voice or perhaps any ambient noise in the room. But again, this would be the setting, so if you have a friend sitting on the other side of the microphone, you're on this side, it would pick up both of you equally, and you could pick up the conversation more clearly. Okay, now this last setting is a -10 decibel pad. Now this is going to be the setting that you're going to use if you're doing any kind of voiceover work or any kind of narration where you want to remove a lot of the ambient noise. There's going to be a very narrow sound cone coming out of the front end of the microphone, so that you're going to have to be a lot closer to the microphone. Now I'm currently sitting about 6 inches away from the microphone, so if I were doing any kind of narration or voiceover, hey, how you doing? If I were doing any kind of narration or voiceover work, I would be a lot closer to the microphone. Now, chances are you're also going to pick up a lot of P's and plosives, so that's where something like this comes in handy, which is a pop filter. So if I were talking a little bit closer to the microphone, it would allow me to use those P's, those hard P's and plosives, and prevent it from actually spiking the microphone. But this would be good if you're doing any kind of voiceover work. Now, I'm still currently about maybe 3 inches away from the microphone, but hopefully you're able to see the difference, or excuse me, hear the difference between being further away from the microphone, as I was for the unidirectional and the omnidirectional, and then of course if I'm a lot closer to the microphone and freaking you the fuck out. Moving on. Okay, now for the remainder of this video, I am using the Go Mic. It is currently set to the unidirectional setting, so it's only picking up the front end of the microphone, but I wanted to finish out the video using probably the setting that you're most likely to use for most recording applications, whether you're doing Skype calls and improving audio. I'm still sitting about a foot away from the microphone, but hopefully you could tell the difference between the internal built-in mic, the example that I gave at the very beginning of this, and then of course the sound that's coming out of the microphone now. Now some of you may ask about the direct monitoring, whether or not there's any kind of latency or delay in your voice. I actually tested the direct monitoring wearing headphones, and I detected 0 latency, so you would hear yourself cleanly in real time as you're talking into the microphone, so that you would be able to directly monitor. Now personally, I don't monitor when I'm doing the program. I had been doing a podcast for over 8 years, so I have a pretty good sense for my settings for my usual recording software, maybe not for video recording, but of how close I need to be to the microphone and all that good stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions whatsoever, certainly feel free to email me at dana@stimulatedboredom.com. There's also a full write-up review on the Go Mic on the website on stimulatedboredom.com if you'd rather read a review versus watching me fumble all over this. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, or if you need me to do any additional tests. So there it is, the Go Mic from Samson, sitting right here. Dun 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 dun. Oh. Dun 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 dun. See you guys later. Hey everybody, Dana here with Stimulated Boredom, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Go Mic by Samson, which is a great portable microphone for everything from online gaming to improved audio during Skype calls, video conferencing, even podcasting or voiceover work. Now obviously I'm not using the Go Mic for this particular recording. I am using my trusty... Hi, can I help you? Yes. Okay. Alright, we have a dog in the... Okay. Send help!